Good evening and welcome back to another Plan With Me. This one I'm using Metamoji Notes for, and I'm going to do the week of September 7th through the 13th. So here's my planner already open in Metamoji Notes, and then I'm going to go to my Google Drive, which is the app I have saved on my iPad, the Google Drive, the Google Drop app. And I've already saved the stickers here. So here I'm waiting on the little thumbnails to load to show the one I wanted. I turned my iPad from landscape to portrait so I could get the whole sheet in one screenshot. Waiting on it to load. I don't know why yesterday it seemed like anything in Google Drive was loading very slowly. So here's the sticker sheet I'm going to use. I took a screenshot of it by pressing my home button and power button at the same time. And then also I had found some digital washi, and here it is. I think there was 20 of them in a zip file. So I clicked open, and I'm going to open in a free app called iZip. Now I use this app quite a bit. It's a good app to have. So here it's opening it. I have it extract them all. And as you can see, it has all the washi. So I picked the one I wanted, press and hold and hit copy to Metamoji Notes because that's where I'm going to be using it. And of course, always select high resolution. And here I'm going to edit the washi to get it to the size I want. Now this is a PNG, so it does have kind of that see-through quality. And when I go to edit it, I notice she made one of the ends look like it was tore off the roll of washi. Not exactly the look I typically go for. I wanted mine straight and clean. So I just cropped off that little bit to make it look like it had a clean edge. Metamoji Notes does support the pinch and zoom feature. So here I zoom in so I can work a little better with it and get it to where I wanted it. And then I tap it and copy, move over to the other side of my planner, and paste it. Now, one of the beautiful things about this is you see that pink shadow there? It will let you know close to where your finished product's going to be. And then I noticed because I stretched it across that the pattern didn't exactly match. So then I took the stretched one, deleted the first one, copied the stretched one over, and cropped it down so that the pattern matched. Sometimes I'm a little picky. So I've got that taken care of. And then I use it just to line it up to where I want it. Now, I know I've done a video before using Metamoji Notes, but I've been playing around with it some, and there are a few features of this I'm absolutely loving. So here I'm going to add photo and add in that screenshot of the sticker sheet I used. Now, I know last time I made a video, I had to add the screenshot in like a million times to be able to manipulate the stickers. I have found a way around that, something I didn't even realize till the other day. So here I'm cropping down to my first sticker. This is the full box I'm going to use as my decoration sticker on my sidebar. And again, pinch and zoom in to get it as clean looking as you feel you need to. So here I'm adjusting the lines. And then you see that pink shadow? It lets you know where it's going to be setting. I really love that feature about Metamoji. So then, as you saw, I just copied that sticker and pasted it. Then I went to edit image. The whole image is back. So I don't have to go to add photo and add it in every time. So that, you know, I don't have to go through those extra steps. I can just paste one of the already edited stickers and the whole image is still there for me to manipulate. So here I'm picking another sticker. My idea was to use these as kind of a backdrop for the checklist to add more color, but then I realized I wanted to add a header. Now, I have learned how to get my digital stamps into Meta Notes, and you do see me use a couple of those later on in the video. That is the reason I went with a plain header instead of one of the already wrote on, is because I was thinking about using my stamps on it. I ended up just leaving them blank. But one of the beautiful things about Metamoji Notes is you can copy an image from anywhere else, paste it here, tap on it, and register item. Now, when you register item, it puts it like in your own little personal library. And I did that with some of my stamps, the digital stamps I have, so that I can add them quickly. So I will show you how to do that in a bit. But that is the whole reason I left the blank one, is because I was thinking of using the stamps to add a header on there. So another thing, I circled both of those and grouped them. If you select the more, you can group them so it acts as one image. So now I copied that one image instead of it being the header and the box. The program sees it as one image, and I'm pasting it to each day. There, I realized I still had my iPad in portrait instead of landscape, and I find landscape so much easier to work in. So I just continue pasting that grouped image all the way through Sunday. Because as most of y'all know, I like to have my checklists. And that's what I'm going to do next, is layer the banner checklists over this kind of muted box. I loved how this box had the kind of watercolor edging. So here I'm getting it in place. And then I go back to that original sticker that I had, the one that said Cozy Day. I copy it and paste it. There's copy, paste, and now I'm going to tap and edit image. Now with that, again, I have the full sheet again. So now I'm going to work on the checklists. So there's my first one. Another wonderful thing about Metamoji Notes is that when I go back to that image to move to the next color of checklist, you can drag the whole crop box over. You don't have to readjust it onto the next one. You can slide the whole box over. As you'll see here, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That time it didn't. But I can then just slide the whole box over to the next color. So as you see here, I zoomed in and then I just slid the whole box over to the red one. And that makes it, pretty easy to go through and change them, especially considering I do want them the same size. It's easy to just slide that over and select the next color. Another thing I'm really liking about Meta Notes is it has different pen types. It has a fountain pen, and for some reason, I don't know if it's the handwriting recognition of the app or the different pen types and how it looks. I don't know, but my handwriting looks so much neater with Metamoji than it does with GoodNotes, which I like. So here I'm continuing with my checklist, so I get one on every day. And just like GoodNotes, the longer I use it, the quicker I get with the app. So don't give up. If you feel like you're slow just give it some time. You start to learn where things are and you almost start to do them without thinking. So here I go. I'm going to paste the image again. Because again, then when I edit it, the whole sheet's there. And I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I love these date covers. They're so pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here and grab another one of the header covers is what she made these for in these set. But again, because Metamoji Notes doesn't lock the aspect, I'm actually going to take this orange bar, combine it with my stamps, and make it into my hydrate sticker for the week. Yes, I know she had hydrate stickers on there, but to be honest, I just wanted to use my stamps. So here I've got that down to just the orange section. And then I'm going to select done and move it down here to the bottom because I'm going to put those along the bottom. So I know my stamp is taller than that. So I grab the top middle handlebar and pull up to make it wider. Because the aspect isn't locked, it didn't make it longer as well. It just made it taller, which is what I wanted. So here I'm going to tap. I copied it because I know I'm going to need more of them. But then I tap and select add item. Now here I'm selecting the water glasses that I'd saved. This is one of my digital stamps I have. I'm adjusting the size and it's still a little too thin. So I slide it back off and made the little orange box a little taller and then layered my stamp over it. I've just recently discovered digital stamps and absolutely love them. You'll see me use another one later in the video. So there I grouped them, copied them, and I'm going to paste them on each day of the week. I'm really trying to drink more water, and I feel better when I drink more water, and I know I do. But let's face it, sweet tea tastes much better than water, so I tend to go for it. So this is kind of a way of tracking how well I'm doing with that, and also kind of a reminder for one that I should do it, and for two that I want to. So it just kind of helps me hold myself accountable for the goals I've set for myself. I've also learned the key to me actually being successful with that is I got a vacuum sealed water bottle that keeps my water really cold. I'll put ice and water in it, and I won't have to add more ice the rest of the day, just more water, and the ice keeps. So that really helps me stay on track with that goal. So here I'm getting it into view. One thing I also discovered after this video is you can have stuff that hang off the edge of your planner in Metamoji Notes where you could not in some other apps. So here I pasted that same Cozy Day sticker. I'm editing it so I have the appointment label. I know my son has an appointment on Tuesday. So I'm going to copy and paste that one. Now, I did do this week with a different sticker kit and GoodNotes. Um, but here I was just started playing around with Metamoji Notes just to kind of be able to answer some questions that people had with it and get a feel for, and it is really starting to grow on me. I love how it has the little shadow that shows you where you're placing things, especially when you're trying to size them to fit. Having that little pink shadow there really helps me line things up. And I'm pretty new with Metamoji Notes. I discover later in this video that there's an alignment tool to align things so that they're even, which is really nice. So here I'm just going on with the appointment labels. I've selected another one, but it has a few features that I just really started to enjoy. So I know I have 2 appointments on that day. And then again, edit that same image and the whole sheet's there. So I can then select the payday sticker she has in this one. The cropping area does get a little, it is a little different in this one because it adds like a little border onto it. So it took me a little bit to get used to how close to where I wanted it to get. There I pasted and I'm editing to get to the weekend banner. So here I'm getting it selected down to just the weekend banner. I like this cute scalloped weekend banner. I also like that it's pretty thin, so it doesn't take up a lot of space yet. It's very cute. So I'm getting it sized to the right size. Again, using those wonderful pink shadows. And then I noticed it got a little bit of the other sticker below it. So I'm going to edit it and try to get off what turned out to be a little slice of pizza. So just moving that up as far as I can to try to cut off the little blue pizza. So here's what it's looking like so far. Now I'm going to go and look. I pasted the last saved image, which happened to be the appointment label. And here I'm going to get one of the half boxes. So I have 2 cats that recently had kittens, and they ended up with an eye infection. So I actually made a stamp, which I've already added to my item. So I'm going to add item here and select the one. They have to have medicine put in their eyes twice a day, and I need to make sure I remember that. So there, I just selected that stamp, put it over the half box that came with this kit. Now, if I select both of them, I can go to alignment here and then click center. And it centered my stamp over that box, which is a very awesome tool. And then I just grouped it because I want them to stay together and then copied and pasted it and moved it across for each day of the week because I have to do it every day. I wanted to make this kind of special because that's not something I normally do. It's not part of my everyday routine that I'm used to. So I thought having this cute sticker here would remind me every day that I need to take care of the kitten's eyes. So, and learning to make digital stamps was actually a lot of fun. And now I want to make everything into a stamp. But I like that I can put it on top of a sticker that's already part of the kit. So I have my reminder for the kitten meds, but it still matches the overall theme of the kit I chose to use. So, and in case anyone's wondering, already we're seeing a huge improvement in the cats. Their eyes are clearing up nicely and staying open like they're supposed to. So it's definitely working. I just need to make sure I stay on it. So here I just grabbed one of the appointment labels, copied and pasted it, and edited it so that I can get another, or I'm going to go ahead and do um, the date covers. So I was looking at these, and my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is on the left side. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the right side. So I was going to do them as individual days, but if you look, she has such a narrow space in between these that I decided to go ahead and do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as one strip. And then on the other side, I'll do just Thursday because of how they are on the sheet. And then add in Thursday, Friday, Saturday as one. So here I've got it the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is on the left side of my page. And it turned out they were almost perfect for the width. And then I just dragged them a little taller so they actually covered the dates. One thing I did notice at the end of the video, I forgot to go back in and put in the dates. I have since done that, but I just went in and used a pretty ink color and hand wrote the dates in beside each of the day of the week. So here I'm getting just the Thursday to cover it. And then I will add Friday, Saturday, Sunday as one because they're all right beside each other on the sheet. To me, when I add date covers to a spread, it just changes the whole spread. It makes the whole planner look different by adding those date covers. I don't know what it is. So then, like I said, one thing I started to really like that I could just paste whatever image. I'm not flipping back and forth between screens like I do on GoodNotes because it keeps the whole image. So here I've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they're in place. So here I'm just going to, again, paste any of the images. I can grab one of them. Um, the only time I tend to have to go grab another one is like when I layered the stamps on top. You know, I didn't know if I could edit it with that. So here I'm going to use this pretty green, and I'm going to make my own kind of an appointment label. There's a couple books coming out this week that I'm looking forward to and really want to read and make sure I get. So I'm going to take this and adjust the size a little bit and also use one of my digital stamps to make my own book labels. So here I've kind of got it the right size and in place. I'm going to zoom in. I know it's going to need to be a little taller. So I'm getting my fit right. And then I'm going to do the add item because, again, it's one of the stamps I saved. Um, some of these stamps are stamps I actually own. Actually, most of these ones, there's a couple I made, but like these are from Studio L2E. And I actually bought these stamps to use in my paper planner. And when I learned how to take an image and make it into a digital stamp, I then used my scanner to scan these images in from the physical stamps I owned and make them into digital stamps so I can continue to use the stamps I love in my paper planner. So here I'm going to do the alignment and center like you saw me do before, and it just centers that stamp across that label, and then I grouped them because I want them to stay as one. And then I copied them and pasted them because there are two books coming out that day that I would like. So I just kind of use that to make my own book labels. So I copied that and moved it over because I remembered that my kids have a doctor's appointment on Friday. So I'm going to have to start making myself like a checklist that I can look at when I'm doing these because sometimes I forget to add in things I know I want. So here I'm looking and going to get another one of the half boxes. Here I'm adjusting it. And I'm going to use this to mark that my mother is coming to visit. So I kind of set it to the side. There, I accidentally cut when I meant to hit copy. So then I put it back, copied it, pasted that same image, go to edit image, and I'm going to use another one of these headers. Only this one I'm going to layer across the page and use it basically as skinny washi. When I have an event that spans several days, I like to kind of just run the skinny washi through those dates and add a label on the first date so I know what it is. I often do that for like my kids' long breaks from school, in this case, the visit of my mother. So I've adjusted it down to just the color that I felt matched that box. And then I'm going to paste it. And then I will copy it so that I have that one. and paste it beside it to kind of give it that look of a strip of washi. So here I am trying to line it up. And this is where I realize that the alignment tool, you can go align and align top or bottom, and it'll make them even. So instead of sitting there trying to eyeball it and get it myself, I was like, why did I not think of that sooner? So in Metamoji Notes, you can circle several items. Like, see, I do it again here. I get this close to where I think it should be, and then I make a circle to hit both of them, and then align them. So that way they're even. And then I check to make sure it didn't mess up the one previous. So anyone who has used the Silhouette software, it's very akin to the alignment tool in there. So here I am pasting it across the rest of the week because she will be here. Hopefully, um, we've found out that her trip may have to be postponed a little bit, but here I'm using the alignment just to make him nice and straight. And then I decide that one you can see it looks like there's a break in it. So I just pasted a couple on top of them to give it that solid look. Because again, it's digital. Um, I don't have to worry about it. It's not going to make my planner any bulkier if I layer multiple. So to give it that nice clean look, I went ahead and layered them and then aligned them again just to make them nice and even. So another feature about Metamoji Notes, which I really like, is most of the time, since I did put this half box on before my strip here, I would have to then cut and paste it again to make it the last image added so it's on top. With Metamoji Notes, you can go to the More tab and have it bring it forward. So therefore, it is going to go ahead and rest on top, which is again what I wanted. So here I am going back to my Dropbox this time because I need a work hours for my husband. So I'm looking through to see which one I want. Believe it or not, people, these files are organized. But I have so many digital stickers, so many, that it's hard to keep up. So here I'm opening this one to look and see what colors it has. And then I'm looking at the glitter because we all know I love some glitter. And I decide that the non-glitter ones would look better with the spread because it is more muted tones. So then I just opened it and did a screenshot of it. And then I'm going back to Metamoji Notes and going to the add photo so I can pick the color I want off of this sheet of stickers. So as you see, it was right there. Again, high resolution. That is one thing I love about doing the digital is I always have such clear images. So here, trying to decide what color is best. So I decided to use kind of this gray toned one because this does have kind of the softer neutrals going on. So then I zoomed in to get the one I wanted. And I'm going to size it. And then copy and paste it on the days my husband works this week. This is one of the weeks he does have his normal schedule, but we are coming into the holiday season where they are kind of shifting people around so people can have days off with their family. Part of the reason my mom's coming early this month is because my husband has to work the entire week of Thanksgiving, but they offered him if he worked Thanksgiving, he could be off Christmas. And since we do have children, Christmas is a bigger deal around our house than Thanksgiving. So my mom's coming to town early while he's still off so we can actually go ahead and do our Thanksgiving feast. So then I went and copied that Cozy Day sticker again and pasted it. And now I'm going to zoom it in. She has this habit tracker. So I'm going to copy it or select it and then copy it and paste it. I have my same normal 4 that I normally do, and then I'm adding an extra one this week. So they're accidentally zoomed out way too far, and I'm trying to adjust it and get it back in view. Again, I am new with this app, so it takes a little bit of getting used to on how it maneuvers, how quickly it is, how responsive it is. So now back to adjusting my habit stickers. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but when I get to the actual writing portion, my handwriting looks so much neater in Metamoji Notes than it does Good Notes. Like I said, I don't know if it's the handwriting recognition or the different pen types, but my handwriting looks pretty darn good, actually. So here I pasted all 5 of the habits I want to track this week. And then that's a lot of white space. I tend to want to kind of fill everything in and make it look pretty. So I decide to use one of her full boxes to kind of just add some more color down there. And if I needed to add something in, I could always go back and put something on top of this or delete this and add something in. So here it just adds color and its decoration, but I can always change it to be functional if I need to. So here I'm selecting the pen type. The calligraphy pen on set B is my favorite. And I decided for this one, if you look, there's so many different pen sets, and you can also use like the color wheel to choose it. There's the different gradients, which are really pretty, but I decided to go with just the regular black and start writing in the things with it. And like I said, it has the little plus. It's a little box with a plus at the bottom that brings it up to make your writing easier. So here I'm getting started there. I try to make my bed every day. I just feel better when my bed's made. It's a good habit to get into, one my grandma always tried to instill. And then I put take meds. It's mostly vitamins, but I need to remember to start taking them. We are getting to cold and flu season, and I do not want a cold or a flu. So, and then brush my teeth. I am horrible about remembering to brush them in the morning. I'm good at bedtime, but in the mornings for some reason, I just get started with the day and forget about it. So there's that visual reminder for me. And then my face care. I'm not getting any younger, so I'm trying to take care of my skin and look as youthful as possible for as long as I can. And then the new one I added in is puppy training. If you've seen any of the pictures, I do have a 6-month-old miniature Dachshund who is spoiled plum rotten, and I am wanting to start teaching him to do a few things. I know he'll fetch, but he could use some training. So I'm going to be mindful and try to make sure that I spend a little time working with him each day. So here, my son has a nurse's appointment. I thought it was at 11, and then I went and looked on my phone, double checked the time. It was at 4. So here I'm just writing that in. And then writing in the titles of the books I want to remember to get. This is the first one in this series, and it's her version of kind of Alice in Wonderland. She did her version on Snow White, Cinderella. It's by Marissa Myers. And she's now doing her spin on Alice in Wonderland, which I'm really looking forward to. Leopard's Fury is part of a series by Christina Feehan that I've read all the other ones, so why not? And then the thing I'm most excited about this week is my mom coming to visit. She lives 4 hours away, and I don't get to see her nearly as often as I would like to. So we're pretty excited when she comes to visit. Matter of fact, I have a couple dues I need to get done today and in the morning just to make her visit a little smoother. Or for me, she's my mom. She's not picky, but I am. So I like to try to make sure everything's ready for her. So there I wrote in the time in that appointment. And then my 2 standing appointments on Thursdays. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I really do think my handwriting registers so much better in Metamoji Notes. And there are some I do actually journal in Metamoji Notes now. I was doing it in GoodNotes. I moved it over to Metamoji Notes. It's basically, it looks like a sheet of paper. I use my stylus and the zoom box like I do on my planner, and I write just like I would in a paper journal. And I like that this does also offer password encryption. So if that's something you felt you needed, you can, keep that private. So here I need to make an appointment. We check my son's grades online, and I try to make sure I check at least once a week and make sure he's not getting behind. This is my oldest son. He's homeschooled, and we need to make sure he's getting enough done and not too much done. So I have to check on that. And then on Sundays, I have to refill our vitamin and pill containers. We use like the weekly boxes. So, and I always forget to do that until it's like bedtime. And I'm like, is everyone taking their? Oh no, I forgot to fill them. So that's the reason I started putting that in my planner. So I make sure I get it done earlier in the day. And then my kids switch their chore zones on Sundays. So I try to make sure that they have that done properly. So when they switch, they're not leaving one of their brothers with a complete mess. So writing in my husband's work schedule. He works 12-hour shifts, and then on top of that, we live an hour to an hour and a half, depending on traffic, away from where he works. So on these days that he works, I feel like I am a single parent because he's at work or asleep. So this is a reminder to myself these are going to be my harder days. So I've got his work schedule in, I've got the reminders for the kittens, and here I went to move it and I still have my pen selected and made a mark. Easy, tap the undo button. Um, and then I remember that I want to add in the weather. My children ride the bus to school, so when I take time to write in the weather at the beginning of the week, not only does it let me kind of think ahead, is it going to be cold next week? Do I need to make any adjustments? I need to make sure they have jackets? It kind of just makes me more mindful of it. And then I can check that morning and see if it's cold enough they actually need their jacket. So here I highlight it. And it took me a minute. I was trying to find the number, like to raise it from 12 to 14 or whatever. And then I noticed up here on my floating bar right under the text tool, because I'm using the emojis, there's a minus and a plus. And that's how you increase your text size or decrease, if the case may be. So there I increased it. It's supposed to be rainy on Monday, which I'm actually doing this voiceover on Monday, and it's not rainy. The weatherman lied. Maybe it'll be later this evening that it's rainy, but right now it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and write in the highs and lows. Um, Typically, my kids get on the bus early in the morning, so the low is kind of the one that's important. Um, and then I just continue adding in my weather for the week. I've really enjoyed using Metamoji Notes. I think I'm actually going to use it all week, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video.